Hey everybody, it is Allie Cudby. Welcome to our webinar. I'm really excited to talk about 2015 planning with everybody. So since we had a little bit of technical difficulty last time, let's just start by making sure that everybody can hear me. So if you can just go ahead and put in the chat box, like, yes, I can hear you. Hey, how you doing? You look fabulous. Anything just so that I know that you can hear me, because according to my little indicators, the computer can hear my voice. I just want to know that you all can hear my voice, because let's face it, that's really any chat in that they can hear me, and we'll make sure that that's all kind of rocking and rolling before we get started. So in the meantime, while I wait to hear, yes, excellent. So far I have a couple of yeses, so I'm going to assume that everybody can hear me, which is, you know, when you're doing a webinar, a really good place to start, let's face it. Nothing is more frustrating. Well, I was going to say, nothing is more frustrating than trying to give a webinar and having people type in the chat box, like, I can't hear you. But I'll bet it was also pretty frustrating for people to be sitting there and not be able to hear, because that's kind of annoying too. Anyway, glad that we got past that important hurdle. So welcome for everybody who is chiming in from the United States. I hope everybody is prepping for Thanksgiving next week. It'll be a lot of fun. My family is all joining us here at my house. We're gonna have 15 people for dinner, so I'm looking forward to doing a lot of cooking and a lot of cleaning. So this is my big finale before I kind of start bunkering down for Thanksgiving prep. So what we are going to talk about today is your plans for 2015. It is super, you know, for those of you who have been following my the webinars here and my newsletters, you know that I talk a lot about the importance of having a target and aiming for the target. And so knowing when you've sort of achieved what it is that you're setting out to achieve. And I've told this story before, and I'll tell it again. What I generally think about it in terms of when I was a little kid and I went to day camp and did archery, and I was so excited the first time that I hit the target. And I came home, and my mom, you know, I was just like, so excited. I was like, Mom, I hit the, and she said, the bullseye? And I said, no, I hit the target. And to me, I like that story in part because I just was a really enthusiastic kid. And I just, you know, for me, I was so thrilled to just hit the target. I also really remember that I kept taking archery and I kept getting better. And eventually I was able to hit the bullseye. And it's such a great, very literal metaphor for what happens when you are really focused on where you're aiming. You know exactly what it is that you want to achieve, and you try, and you may have to make course corrections, but over time you're able to first sort of get into the, hit the target, aim toward the target, then you hit the target, and then you refine over time, and you're able eventually to hit the bullseye. So that's what we're going to be talking about. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, someone just told me there's music playing. I have no idea. I'm not playing music. I don't know how to make that stop. Sorry, guys. I don't know what to do about that. But there's no music playing here. Can you hear what I'm saying? I mean, I know that there's music. Are other people hearing music, or is there just one person? I don't know what to say. mostly what I'm getting here is that people can hear me, and I have one person saying that there's music playing. So if lots of people are having a problem with music playing, then just message me, and we'll try and sort it out. And thank you for the person who said that they like my hair color. I'm playing with it. Okay, so let's get right down to it. I'm going to share my screen. Oh no, okay. So sounds like not everybody has a music problem. So I apologize to whoever hears music. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. And you should be able to see now that we're going to be talking about our plans for 2015. And before we get into that, I just want to quickly review who I am for those of you who don't know. I run the FabFit Academy, the online bra fit training and certification program that goes out to professionals across the globe. And the Intimate Circle, which is a learning library that's specific to lingerie retailers and really helps boost businesses through offering monthly interviews with experts in the industry. And I work with retailers around the world to help them improve their businesses, both in the Intimate Circle, but also in groups and workshops. So 2015 planning. The best way that I know to think about planning is to begin with the end in mind. And again, this goes back to how do you hit the target? Well, the first thing that you want to do is be really, really clear on what the target is. And so by knowing what you want the target to be, it's going to be a lot easier to map to it. So, one really easy way to think about this is how much money do you want to make in 2015? Now, I know that for many of you, the work that you do is so much more than just money. You are really in this for your heart. You're in this because you want to help women. You're in this because you have a passion for the work that you do. And those things are all super important and incredibly valuable to you all as business owners. It is so much more than just the money, and I get that. So we're going to be talking a lot about the money today in terms of this planning session. I just want to be extra clear that just because we're focusing on the money in terms of this webinar and this piece of 2015 planning, that absolutely doesn't minimize, and I just want to strongly say how important I think it is to focus on who you are and why you're in your business and why you are reaching out to women and wanting to help them look and feel their best and be their best selves in the world. So I decided to, for the purposes of this planning, to just pick a number, and we'll go through the process of mapping to the number, and you can sort of see how it works. And to just make things, interesting, nice round numbers, I mapped this to $100,000. So we're going to talk about what it takes to make $100,000 in 2015. Nice round goal there. So you have your target, and now how are you going to get there? Like, how are you going to aim? And so, there's lots of different ways to make money, and I know a lot of you all are in retail sales, so we're going to talk about that specifically. I also want to talk about a consulting method, because I know that there are definitely some of you who do more consulting-oriented business, or sort of business that's more oriented toward an hourly rate. So I'm going to run through these numbers two different ways. I'll probably spend a little bit more time talking about retail sales, because that's the bulk of you, but I wanted to sort of run the numbers both ways. So again, the first thing that we did was we picked the target. $100,000, and now we're going to focus on the path that we are going to take to get there and what that means. So our retail sales target is $100,000 a year, and you can see that looks like it's a little bit blurry, but you can see that that's in the top sort of dark blue box there. So assuming that you are essentially keystoning, so you're essentially doubling from your sales at the retail value to what you make, you have to sell $200,000 worth of product in order to get $100,000 out of it, right? So you have a 50% markup. And obviously there is overhead as well. So, you know, and these numbers may or may not, you know, you might need to adjust them slightly for your business. You know, whether or not you have a bricks and mortar environment with rent and employees, or if you're operating an online business, then you know, clearly your overhead numbers are going to be vastly different. So this is just simply a single example. But you know, what I was thinking in these overhead numbers was maybe you have rent, maybe you have some part-time employees, and so ultimately, in order for you to bring home $100,000, you would need to bring in $240,000. And again, you know, these are numbers that you have to sort of figure out for yourself. And so what that means is that you have to make $20,000 a month. That's what you need to target for your monthly sales. So this is pretty straightforward stuff, right? I mean, yes, it's math, and I know math is scary, but you know, basically what we're doing is we're figuring out how much product do we have to sell, what is our overhead, and then, you know, essentially what's $100,000 more than that, and that's how much we need to map to. And then dividing by 12 is getting us sales. Now, if anybody isn't following any of this, because, you know, I created this little chart, so it makes perfect sense to me, you know, go ahead and throw a question in the box. I can, even though you can't see me, I can see your questions. So if you need me to sort of go back on anything, just give a holla. So then going a little bit further, I like to break it down into weekly sales. So now, you know, instead of feeling like, oh my God, I have to bring in $240,000 this year, that's monumental, you're looking at, okay, I need to bring in $5,000 a week. $5,000 a week doesn't seem as terrifying, right? I mean, and that's really what this boils down to, is like breaking it into more bite-sized pieces. So if your customers have an average sale of $100, so you've got to bring in $5,000 in a week, your average customer sale is, or your average sale per customer is $100. That means you need to make 50 sales in a week. So everybody got that. You know, and so then you're really just thinking about, okay, how do I make 50 sales in a week? And that's going to get me to $100,000 a year. So looking at it from the consulting perspective, instead of going through it step by step, I'm just putting it all up on the screen at once here. I'm saying that you're keeping 90% of your sales, that, you know, because you're not buying materials in nearly the same way as in a, you know, product-oriented business. Instead of having a 50% margin, you have a 90% margin. So you're keeping a lot more of your money. And so you only have to bring in $111,000 to cover that $100,000. but I still I still have overhead in here. Maybe you have an employee, maybe you have office rent, whatever it is. So I brought this out to about $151,000 a year that you have to make. So what does that mean for you? To make $151,000 in revenue, which is going to give you $100,000 in profit, you're going to divide that number by 12 to get your monthly sales of about 12,600. You're going to divide that number again by 4 to get your weekly sales of 3,150. So I'm assuming that you're charging $100 an hour for your consulting work. So that means that you need to make to make $100,000 a year, you need to sell about 31 hours a week of consulting. So, you know, again, once you break down these numbers this way, it just makes it so much more accessible. Because 31 hours a week of consulting work, that doesn't sound so intimidating. And, you know, 50 customers a week, you know, 50 sales a week, that doesn't seem so intimidating. So, you know, focusing on that, how many customers do you need? How many customers do you need? So in each week, I'm going to go back up for a second. So in each week in a retail store, you need to make 50 sales, right? In each week in a consulting business, you need to sell 31 hours. So now let's talk about how many customers you actually need in order to get to those numbers, right? So in a retail environment, you need to make 2,400 annual sales transactions. And I got this number by taking $240,000, which is the amount of total money that you need to bring in, and dividing it by $100, which is the average transaction cost, right? So hold on, I'm going to go back up again. I'm going to show you those numbers. So $240,000 divided by 100. And so that means, you know, so you do the old take away 2 zeros trick, and that's going to leave you with 2,400 customers, or 2,400, I'm sorry, transactions in a year. And so the number of actual customers that you need to have depends upon how many transactions per customer you get. So if your customers come back one time a year, then you obviously need 2,400 of them, individual, you know, to make your 2,400 transactions at one person shopping, each person shopping one time per year, that's 2,400. So if your customers come back 2 times a year, then that math doesn't look right. Then this math, oh, I don't know. You get the idea. That should be 1,200 for if they come back 2 times a year. Then you only need half of the number of customers. You need 1,200, not 1,600. And if they come back 3 times a year, then that is correct. Then it's 800 customers. So, you know, the number of customers that you need will change based on the number of times that they come back. And in the consulting model, if you need to sell 1,500 hours, then the number of the length of time for each engagement is going to determine how many clients you actually have. So if you're selling, you know, 10-hour blocks of time, then you need 150 clients. If you're selling 100 hours of blocks of time, so that would be like a 2.5 weeks engagement at 40 hours a week, then you need 15 clients. And if you're selling week engagement, then you just need 5 clients to make that money, 1,000 hours. Wait, that can't be right. Oh, okay. That can't be right. You know what? I so apologize. My numbers here are wrong, and I don't know why. Because obviously, if you need to sell 1,500 hours and you sell 1,000, then you don't need 5 clients. You just need 1.5. So, yeah, I'll send out a note that to everybody who is here with different math, because so ignore these numbers. Live work at its best, folks. So, but you get the idea, right? You just need to think about how many hours and then how long your engagements are to figure out how many clients you need. So how are you going to meet your sales goals? You need to bring customers in the door. Some of them may know you, some of them may not. So you're going to need to figure out, ways to reach your sales goals. And there are lots of options. Oops. All right. There are lots of options. You can do newspaper ads. You can do radio commercials. You can do TV, direct mail, Facebook ads. You can make phone calls. You can be on LinkedIn. You can do newsletters. And this actually keeps going down off the page. It goes and goes and goes because there are so many different ways that you can reach your customers. Your options to reach out to your customers are endless. But the easiest customer to acquire is the one you already have. It's so much harder to find new customers, present yourself to them, and convince them to come in your door the first time. I've talked before about the number of times that a customer needs to be aware of you and hear your name and know about your business before penetrate to, or used to be that it was seven times before a customer was comfortable enough with you to come back. So if they were exposed to your brand and your business 7 times, then 7 was sort of the magic number for how many, for like what it would take in order to penetrate their consciousness and get them to want to come to your business. So they hear your name for the first time and it doesn't really make a mark, and then they hear it again and maybe they kind of think about the fact that they've heard it, but the number but once they get to number 7, then they're like, oh yeah, I've heard of this business seems reputable to me. I am aware of what they do. I'm aware that I have a need of what they do. I'm going to go visit them. Well, now in the world of constant bombardment of advertising messages and all kinds of information, that number has exploded. It's more than doubled. So it is always harder to bring in new customers, and it's always easier to get the customers that you have already acquired, the ones who already know you, the ones who already know where to find you and what goods you carry, and you've already given them an opportunity to love you. Those are the best customers to have. And so the thing that you want to do is focus on making every customer interaction extraordinary. So that you only have to create 800 transactions per year, because 800 customers per year, because those customers are coming in 3 times a year, versus 2,400 customers a year because they're only coming in once a year. So going back to what we've been talking about in some of the previous seminars, creating an environment, creating a business that makes women feel amazing when they are with you, and so they want to come back for more. Making sure that everything you do with them is extraordinary. that really is the key to not just having really happy customers, but that is the magic button to getting to hit the bullseye. So that's that we've gone through. And plans are easy to make. You know, like I just went through the numbers. Apparently plans are a little harder to make than than my numbers indicate, given the fact that I had a couple wrong numbers in there, but you get the idea. Plans are easy to make, but they're hard to achieve. And, you know, I say here, hello, every dieter ever. And it's, you know, insert the thing that's hard to do here. You know, it's not easy to hit the bullseye. It's not easy to lose weight. It's not easy to learn a new skill. It's not easy to do this work. So how can you make sure that you're setting yourself up for success? That's really the key. It's not the plan that you make. It's ensuring that you're going to get the outcome that you want. When I first graduated from Wharton, had my, you know, freshly minted MBA, and I went to work for the New York Times Company, and I worked in their corporate strategy group. And we had these awesome retreats every year where we talked about the future of publishing and the importance of the reputation of the New York Times Company. They were really very, very cool annual retreats. And this one guy came in and we were talking about planning. And he said, and I guess I should just say that, like, in preparation for these annual retreats, my department, we would spend months preparing these very, very intricate plans for what the company was going to do in the following year. You know, we would do all the scenario analysis, and we would look at all of these different ways to grow. We would look at all of the threats that were going to be happening, or potential threats that were going to be coming into the marketplace. You know, we put in so much work for these annual retreats. So this one guy, we had presented our plan, and we were sort of enjoying the fruits of our labor and listening to the speakers. And this guy stands up and he says, you know, planning is everything, but the plan means nothing. And as frustrating as it was to hear that after having spent months working on the plan that we had just presented, there's a lot of truth in that. You can plan and plan and plan, but it's ultimately about the actions that you take and what you do throughout the year that are going to get there. Planning is everything, but until you resolve to take action every day, choose to move forward every day, you don't achieve your goals. And whether it is going after these customers or, you know, looking at the dieting example, right? You don't have one awesome day of eating lettuce and achieve your goal. It's choosing the tough path every day, choosing to say no to the fries and the cake, you know, or just have one bite every day for a long period of time that gets you where you want to go. Sometimes the best path to achieving your goals is knowing when you need a little help. And help is, you know, sometimes the difference between really thriving and floundering. And knowing when you need a little help and what you want to achieve from getting some assistance can make a huge difference in your work. I mean, I use coaches and mentors all the time, and especially, you know, there's a lot. I know some stuff, and there's a lot I don't know. And there are some times that I am not sure. Like, I know that there are a bunch of different options, and I'm not sure which is the best choice for me in this moment. And one of the things that I hear a lot from people who own businesses like yours is that they just feel like they don't know who to ask. They don't feel like they have somebody that they can turn to who really understands their business and understands their objectives. And sometimes just having somebody to turn to, it can make all the difference when you're trying to decide how to move forward so that you can hit the bullseye. So ask yourself, how committed are you to taking action? How committed are you to doing that work to hit that goal? Because when you think about, 50 customers a week, that seems really doable. That is really doable to get you to that $100,000 payout. But only when you are committed to taking action all the time, every day throughout the year. And do you want to do it alone? Ask yourself, how can you get where you want to go in 2015? Because we've now mapped a path, and these are numbers that you can easily sort of recreate and change to meet your specific business numbers, right? So your goal may be different, your margins may be different, your overhead may be different. But once you have those numbers, you can easily sort of take it to how many customers a week do you need, and then how are you going to get those customers? I'm here to help if you're ready to take action on behalf of your business. And I have offered this before, and I'm always happy to have these conversations with you in order to help you take action on behalf of your business. And it's not for everybody. These strategy sessions are, these are, I sit down, I'm super psyched to sit down with you one-on-one business and see how you are planning to grow it and how you are ready. I'll answer whatever questions that you have about how to grow your business, and see if I can help you get you there. I'm always happy to do that for people who are ready to take action to make some changes. Sometimes I get calls from people, and they're not ready to take action. They just sort of want to chat, and that's cool. But they're confusing talking about taking action with actually taking action. And those are two really different choices. Gathering information is great. Planning is great. But again, planning is everything. But the plan means nothing until you're ready to actually do the work. And I am your biggest cheerleader to help you get there. I believe in the businesses that you all run, and all I want truly is to help you succeed so that you all can not only reach those financial goals, but also get to that place of being able to help women look and feel amazing in their bodies. Because I believe so profoundly in that message. It really is the combination of knowing how you want to build your business and knowing why you want to build your business. And with that, I will go back to you guys seeing me. Hello. And I am happy to take any questions that you have. And which questions you want to ask me, I will, I don't know, do a little dance. Now I really will play music. No. So what will I do? I will tell you about, what we're planning for Thanksgiving. So I think I said we're gonna have 15 for dinner, and it's the first year that my mother has handed over the reins to my husband and I to plan plan Thanksgiving dinner, which we're really super psyched about. And so we are busy cooking, and we're smoking a turkey, and we're doing a standard turkey, and I don't know, making sweet potato pie and all the trimmings, and we're looking forward to it. And I'm waiting eagerly to see what questions you have for me about 2015 planning while I am telling you about our fabulous Thanksgiving celebration. I know that we have an international group here. I saw from some of the names that there are people here from all over the world. So I know this isn't everybody's holiday, but this is our holiday, and I'm psyched for it. No questions today, really. That's surprising, because planning for the upcoming year is really one of the most, it's really one of the most important things that you can do. I mean, it's that knowing how to hit the target, being super clear about what target you want to hit, and making the numbers accessible. One of the things that I see so many people doing is they make the numbers really complicated. They go into so much detail, and then they get lost in numbers. And actually, the simple numbers that are the ones that make the biggest impact. So so somebody is interested in hearing more about the Intimate Circle. Will this help me reach my goals? Yes, I am so happy with the Intimate Circle. It is a learning library, essentially, where every month I interview somebody whose expertise can provide value for you and your lingerie business. And it's really, the Intimate Circle is really specifically looking at people in the in the lingerie retail space. So I have talked to people. We've talked about everything from buying and being really focused with your open to buy strategies, and the important to Jacqueline Sava, who owns Soak Lingerie Wash, and why, not only why having a really clear sales strategy for wash is important, but how having that strategy in place can really boost your bottom line. We've talked to people who are experts in how to make the best use of the internet and your email list. When we have talked to Elizabeth Dale, who is the founder of The Breast Life, need to know about breasts in order to sell bras. Gamut from the business side to the biological to to product information. So we really cover a wide range of topics that are all designed to help lingerie retailers run their business more effectively. So I think it's actually a great tool for anybody who is in the lingerie retail space. And then we have a nice little group on Facebook. So when you have questions, you can ask them, and people engage in the group, and that's awesome too, because it's not that often that we get an opportunity to ask other retailers about what's going on in their businesses. Let's see. My shop is in a resort town, and so it's totally dead January through May. Any ideas to bring in more business? Absolutely. Even there are always people that live in the town, even if it's a resort town. So what you might want to think about is, do you need to change your product mix? And in those less busy months, and what kinds of, how can you make your store a focal point for the people who live there? So whether it's events, you can do really fun things with, girls' night out. You can partner with other people in the community. Like maybe there's a bakery, maybe there's a wine shop. Put together some fun little partnerships to bring out the people who actually do live there, but make sure that the product that you're offering in those non-resort months reflect the actual customers that are going to be coming in. So what you may have are two sets of customers that have different shopping profiles, and you can plan to that. So so that's what I would consider when you are thinking about your downtime. And again, like really give thought to what your customers want and need. And for you, that concept of, your customers may be different at some months of the year versus others. So that's what I would encourage you to think about. And, if you have a follow-up question, let me know. Also, if you want to talk about this further, definitely apply for a strategy session, the link that I have popped up, and we can talk about it offline. That is a complicated situation. It's a little bit more complicated, but people do this successfully all the time, so we can help. Dow, I see you there asking me about the bacon wrapped turkey that we're planning for Thanksgiving. Happening. That is happening. We are making a bacon wrapped turkey, and there will be pictures. How do you go about budgeting for advertising? Again, budgeting for advertising has everything to do with your numbers and understanding what you can afford, understanding where you're finding your customers, and really how you can be as targeted as possible based on your numbers. And that question is a really good one. It's there's a lot of individual complexity to it, and so I would be happy to talk to you on a strategy session about that. I encourage you to click the link and head on over there and sign up so that I can get to know a little bit more about you and your business and give you a little bit more of a tailored answer, because what you may want to do in terms of your spending, it's not a cookie cutter answer. It's really individually business specific. I've always been intrigued with the idea of using a consultant or a business planner to assist me and grow and strategize, just concerned with the costs and benefits of it. Yeah, totally. You want to make sure with somebody that it's going to pay off for you, and that there's going to be a real return on your investment. When we go through these strategies in the work that I do with retailers, we're talking about how do you make some small changes and get 40% more business from that. And so when you think about what 40% more business would look like for you, this was just like one thing that we talked about this past week. If you can make changes that are not significant changes, they're not expensive changes. They're just changing, altering slightly how you're engaging, and get 40% more revenue from your clients. And that was actually a strategy that didn't cost a penny. It was not an advertising strategy. It was just a different way of thinking about things. So, anytime, I always am clear that I want to be able to demonstrate the return on any investment of working with me. And anybody who doesn't want to do that, you should shy away from, because I think that generally, no matter what the size of the business, there is opportunity for significant growth. And when you're in it all the time and you're running your business day after day, and you're up to your eyeballs in the doing, it's not easy to take a step back and think about how you might just pivot a little bit and retarget for huge opportunity. And so just having somebody to talk to who really gets it and can both shed some light on where the opportunity may be, And also, you know, hold your feet to the fire a little bit if you're not taking the steps that you need to move forward. You know, there's a reason that you know, there's a reason that personal trainers exist, right? It's because when you go to the gym and you go by yourself, you generally speaking don't work as hard as you do when you have somebody coaching you along. You're not spending as much time thinking as clearly about your form or your form doing the exercise. You know, you let yourself slide. It's easy to let ourselves slide. And so working with a coach, whether it's in the gym or in your business, allows you to really have somebody else looking over your shoulder to say, no, 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 let's change that form up a little bit. You know, let's redirect you a little bit. Let's try this thing instead to get you the maximum results. Basically, it's a one-on-one conversation where we're going to talk about what's going on in your business and how your business is serving you, and where there's opportunity to grow and change and make it the business of your dreams. You know, most people who sign up for these strategy sessions are saying, you know, I love my business. I wish it was working better on some level. And you know, whether you're making, you know, less than $1,000 a month, or you know, whether you have an 8-figure business, there are always things to do to improve. There are always ways to make your business better. And you know, a lot of times, you know, it's the people who it comes down to the people who make the biggest difference for their own business and for their own lives. You know, it's the people who say, I'm really committed to what it is that I do, and I recognize that you know, that 2 sets of eyes are better, or that I may benefit from having some help, and I'm ready to take action. And everybody, honestly, you know, have a strategy session with me, talk to somebody else. Like, I'm such a firm believer in coaching, and the importance of coaching and the value of coaching for the long term. So, you know, I would love to talk to you, and you know, I see whose question this is, and you know, I'm excited for your business, and I've been a fan of yours for a long time. And you know, whether or not it's me or somebody else, I always think that there's value in having a coach and another set of eyes on your business, and giving you sort of that push from the sidelines to you know, to think about things in a different way and make it better. Let's see. What kinds of products can be added to a lingerie store to bring in customers? You know, again, you know, it's really a personal choice for what you want to do with your business and what you stand for. One of the things that we spend a lot of time talking about is who do you want to be? Because whether it is, you know, high-heeled slippers with a little bit of fur on the front, or adult toys, or flannel pajamas, like those are all great answers. And so it goes back to the question of what do you stand for in your business, and like, and who do you want to serve? So really knowing your customer and serving them is sort of the thing to ask yourself. And you know, again, we can talk about that more specifically for what is going on in your business. Questions. If anybody else have a question before we wrap it up for our day here. All right, I will go back and change those numbers and send them back out to you guys. Sorry about that. And make them available. And wait, hold on, one more question came in. Do I recommend having a pre-Christmas sale to get the business going? Again, it really depends on your business and how your customers are going to. I 100% recommend communicating with your customers before Christmas. I 100% recommend getting them super psyched about what it is that you have coming into the store. I 100% recommend giving your giving the boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands of your customers an opportunity to really know what people want and make it easy for them to buy, easy for them to wrap, easy for them to stick under the tree or the menorah or the whatever. I don't know if Kwanzaa has a totem of some kind, but whether or not you offer it as a discount strategy, that's really specific to your business. But this is the time of year to get your customers excited about what you offer and how to bring it home and put it under the tree with a bow on it, so that so that people are thrilled on when they're unwrapping their present, whether it be, again, Christmas morning or whenever. So that I would recommend having a really, really tight strategy for communicating how often, what you want to say, and if you want to talk further about how to do it and how that might work for your business, then just like I said, shoot me a strategy session application. And those sessions are free. I do these sessions complimentary, one-on-one. I just really think that what you all do is important, and I want to see. Now I work with people who are ready to step up and take action, and I am happy to talk to anybody who counts themselves in that category. But I don't charge for the strategy sessions. And what happens in working in your business in this way and understanding all of the different facets, it is absolutely about creating loyalty. It is absolutely about creating rabid fans, rabid fans who come back more often, spend more, and tell their friends about the work that you're doing, so that you can reduce that number of customers, that number of bodies that you need to attract into your business on an annual basis. So that's really the goal. Know your numbers, have a plan, and then make the choice to execute it every day. All right, so now I'm really gonna wrap it up. Thank you all so much for being here, as always. I look forward to hearing from some of you in the strategy sessions, for those of you who are ready to sort of step up and take ownership of the business and the plans that you have for 2015. I am committed to helping you with the recipe to reach your goals. So again, for those of you who are in the United States, have a great Thanksgiving. For everybody else, have a great week and a great weekend. I'll probably do one more webinar in December before the holidays, and then we'll be into 2015. If you have a request for a webinar topic, please email me. I'm here to serve you guys, and don't necessarily want to have, if you have something you want me to talk about, I'm happy to talk about it. So the webinar, the opportunity for you to sign up for a strategy session should be right up on the screen. If you have any questions at all, just reach out anytime. So with that, farewell.